Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of SolarFury Thinks Too Much About Clash Royale. This is the series where I talk about things pertaining to Clash Royale that I've been thinking a lot about, and the topic for today's video is the furnace. Also, if you want to check out the other episodes in this series, there'll be links to those in the description down below. So the furnace, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, not that furnace. Yeah, that furnace. But anyway, to keep it real, I believe that the furnace is one of the most broken cards in Clash Royale. And to be honest, I'd even put the furnace up there with the Electro Giant, Goblin Drill, and Tesla in terms of being the most broken cards in Clash Royale. But looking at the stats for the furnace, the stats really don't back up the claim that it's broken. Taking a look at the stats for the furnace, you can see that right above me, it only has a 3% usage rate and a 48% win rate. Stats comparable to the X-Bow. So really not that good, right? And then even looking at ladder, it only has a 6% usage rate and a 50% win rate. Those are about average stats, but nothing that would scream broken, right? So even though it statistically isn't broken, if you have played against the furnace recently, then you know how strong of a card this is in Clash Royale. So there are a few things that make the furnace broken that I would like to touch on in this video. And also, after you're done watching the entire video, be sure to leave a comment down below, letting me know what you guys think about the furnace. Do you think it's broken? Do you think it's underwhelming? Or do you think it's balanced? Be sure to let me know, and also explain why. So the first major thing that I think makes the furnace a broken card is Clash Royale is actually this right here. The Fire Spirit itself. So the last wave of balance changes that happened in Clash Royale was at the beginning of June. And with these balance changes, the Fire Spirits probably got one of the biggest reworks that a Clash Royale card has seen in a very long time. Here is what happened to the Fire Spirit.
Flashback.
Fire Spirits are getting a major rework. They're going to be one elixir, but only one Fire Spirit, and it's getting a plethora of buffs. That includes damage, hit points, jump range, and damage radius.
End of flashback.
So as you can see, along with being made only one elixir, the Fire Spirit received a plethora of buffs. And since the furnace spawns Fire Spirits, this directly made the furnace a better card. It jumped all the way from being the worst spawner in Clash Royale to being a pretty solid card in Clash Royale, at least statistically. And the next major issue I want to talk about, I believe, is the major problem with the furnace in Clash Royale. And this is actually the amount of Fire Spirits that the furnace actually spawns. In the same wave of balance changes where the Fire Spirits were reworked, the furnace was buffed along with that, so that way it spawns 2 whole additional waves of Fire Spirits. Now at service value, 2 waves may not seem like a lot, but with the Fire Spirit becoming a much better card in Clash Royale and having the furnace spawn 2 additional waves of that much better card, it makes a big difference. So being completely honest here, does this buff to the furnace make any sense at all?
No.
And because of this buff, in some situations, it actually allows for the furnace to become a secondary or a third win condition within a deck, and a spawner should not have that role. So in Clash Royale, if you spot up a furnace and your opponent leaves it totally ignored, then we can see that the furnace will leave the tower with 1030 damage remaining. That means that a completely ignored furnace will do 1504 damage to a tower at tournament standard.
That's a lot of damage.
And so because of this crazy amount of damage, it forces your opponent to respond when of course they really don't want to. And this response can potentially lead to your opponent being at an elixir disadvantage, which gives you the upper hand. Really, in terms of furnace counters in Clash Royale, there aren't that many that give you a positive elixir trade. Most of them result in a net elixir trade, which is 4 for 4, or a negative elixir trade in which you're spending more than 4 elixir to counter 4 elixir. Really, the only card that can result in a positive elixir trade with the furnace is the Earthquake. So unless you're running the Earthquake in Clash Royale, you're going to be having a lot of problems dealing with the furnace. So if you ask me, a 4 elixir building in Clash Royale should not be this problematic. So with the next wave of Clash Royale balance changes coming within the next month, what do we do to fix the furnace? Well, I have a couple ideas that I would like to propose. I think the simplest fix to the furnace is just to nerf the amount of Fire Spirits that the furnace actually spawns during its lifetime. I don't think that there was a need to give it that extra 2-wave buff, so I think if you nerf its waves by 1 or even nerf it by 2, I think that would kind of mellow the furnace back out. Because I honestly think that the strength of the Fire Spirit itself would keep the furnace alive if this was the only thing that you did to nerf it. The other proposal I have is to nerf the Fire Spirit itself. In my opinion, the thing that annoys me the most about the Fire Spirit is its splash radius. They buffed its splash radius a bunch, so that way it hits so much in its little area, and I just think that that could use a bit of a tone up, you know? So we either nerf the splash radius of the Fire Spirit or nerf the amount of waves that the furnace spawns, and I think we will have a much more balanced furnace. So ladies and gentlemen, we have discussed the furnace. Now I want to know what you guys think about the furnace. As I said earlier, leave a comment down below about what you guys think about the furnace and how you would potentially go about fixing the card. But anyway, gamers, guys, that's going to be it for today's Clash Royale video. If you did enjoy, then leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Cross your fingers for a furnace nerf in the next wave of balance changes, and I'll see you guys in the next video.